Hello, welcome to Papa Nick's Music. I am, as always, your host, Papa Nick Lewis. And this week we're doing another out of step video. Last week I posted a video in which I talked about musical artists that you might think I like based on the general content on the channel, based on demographic qualities. These were things that you might think I like, but that I was just frankly not that big a fan of. The video that I posted last week was the second out of step video that I posted. The previous one was a year and a half ago. And in both of those, I was talking about music that I don't much care for. This week, I'm still out of step, but this week it's a positive thing. This week I want to talk about music that I like that you might not think I like. These are things that, again, based on the general content on this channel, based on demographic qualities, you might not think that I like this stuff, but I do. So it's out of step, but it's positive. I want to be clear before I start this. I am not saying that these are guilty pleasures. I hate that label. We do not deal in guilty pleasures here at Papa Nick's Music. I don't think you should ever feel guilty because there is something that you like that other people don't. You know, things like murder. Okay, we can make exceptions for that. Here I'm talking about artistic works. If there's a type of book that you like to read, if there's a type of TV show that you like to watch, if there's a type of movie you like to watch, if there is a type of music that you like to listen to, you should never feel guilty about that. And we don't here at Papa Nick's Music. We used to, but I've managed to stamp that out over the last 20, 30 years or so. So I'm not talking about guilty pleasures. What I'm talking about are things that I really like that you might not think that I like. They wouldn't necessarily be top of mind when you're looking at the list of videos that I've posted or when you're looking at a picture of me. Okay? As before, I've got them divided into two groups, the stuff that I like and the stuff that I really, really like a lot. Might even go so far as to say that I love, but it's not something that I would go so far as to do a video about it on its own, okay? But this is all music that I like. So, my first entry on the like list, and I debated long and hard about whether to include this particular artist because when I was young, there were a few things that you could admit to that would be seen as a badge of just rampant uncoolness more than admitting that you liked Barry Manilow. And I don't know that that's an issue anymore. I think Barry Manilow's reputation has resuscitated a little bit. So I don't know that you'd be surprised that I like Barry Manilow, but I do. I think he's got a lot of really good music. I am particularly fond of two albums. This One's For You is my favorite, even now. Runs at a close second. Love these. I love these albums. I love This One's For You especially. I really like Barry Manilow. My second really like, and again, this might not be a huge surprise, but I really like Leon Redbone. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if I included this in my Perfect Album videos or not. I might have. I do think From Branch to Branch is a perfect album. I only have a couple Leon Redbone albums, so I can't go so far as to say I'm a huge fan, but I really like Leon Redbone. I like his voice. I like the material that he does. I was able to see him once in concert. He was opening for George Carlin, and oh my gosh, it was wonderful. I like Leon Redbone. The third artist that I like, I was introduced to this artist through the music of one of my favorite musicians, Stuart Copeland, drummer of The Police. On his solo album, I don't know if it was his first solo album, especially if we consider Clark Kent to be a solo album. Bit of a tangent. On one of his solo albums, it's called The Rhythmatist. He featured as a co-writer and singer on several of the tracks, Ray Lima. I really like Ray Lima. Again, I don't have a whole lot of Ray Lima's work. I do have Gaia, and I think this is just a fantastic album. I love listening to Ray Lima. Oh, like Ray Lima a lot. Fantastic stuff. Okay, this next one. I'm not a big fan of country music, but I got to tell you, I rather like Hank Williams Jr., especially this era of Hank Williams Jr. Habits Old and New, Whiskey Bent and Hellbound, Rowdy, The Pressure Is On. These are some fantastic albums, and I really like a lot of the stuff. I think Rowdy is probably his best album, and I can listen to this stuff all day long. I like Hank Williams Jr. I think he's an extremely talented musician. It's fun music. I like Hank Williams Jr. Okay. This next one. I'm reasonably confident that nobody clicked on the title of this video thinking that we were going to be talking about David Soul. David Soul? Yes, David Soul. Rest in peace, Mr. Soul. Like many people of a certain vintage, I grew up watching Starsky and Hutch. I love that show. I still will watch it. I binged through almost all 4 seasons here just a couple of months ago. And I love David Soul as an actor in that show, but I really like his music. Don't Give Up on Us Baby was the hit, and it's off of his self-titled album. Black Bean Soup is on here. Topanga is a pretty good song. Landlord. Oh, there's some good stuff on here. And I like David Soul. I like his voice. It's entertaining. I like David Soul. I also have Playing to an Audience of One back there in my vinyl stack. I just didn't get it out. And wrapping up the stuff that I like, last summer I did a series of videos about the Bee Gees. And in that series of videos, I talked about how I thought disco got a bad shake. The Disco Sucks anti-disco backlash was an embarrassment. It was based largely on racism and homophobia. And it was just an overall general crappy era or crappy part of modern American history. Underlying that discussion is the fact that I actually like disco. And there's a lot of disco that I really like. And so I'm talking about Casey and the Sunshine Band. I really like Casey and the Sunshine Band. This is fun music. I didn't realize it at the time, but I first fell in love with Casey and the Sunshine Band when George McCrae released Rock Your Baby. I love that song. I love the sound of it, the percussion. Oh, I just love it. And that was Harry Casey and the Sunshine Band. I'm a big fan of Casey and the Sunshine Band. Yeah, a lot of their songs sound the same. You could make a nice, 10-minute medley of probably 9 different Casey and the Sunshine Band songs. They all weave together because they're all using the same beat. They're all using the same chords. It would be easy to do, and I would love every minute of it because I really like Casey and the Sunshine Band. So those are artists that I like that you may not think that I like. These next artists are artists that I love that you may not realize. The first, going out of order, see if I can keep this straight on my notes. The first artist that I love, and I'll be honest, I think I may have talked about this artist before. I don't know if I have. But the first artist is Pink Martini. I really, really love Pink Martini. For the most part, I was an occasional concert goer throughout my young adult and adult years, and went to a few concerts when I was in college, the occasional concert throughout my 30s and 40s. I didn't really start attending concerts regularly until about the last 20 years. And during that time, there are two artists that I have seen at least a bare minimum 5 times, and one of them is Pink Martini. I adore Pink Martini. Hang On Little Tomato is a beautiful album. I could just as easily be holding up Hey Eugene. I mean, they're all great. I love Pink Martini. I love the instrumentation. I love the musicianship. Oh, I can listen. They normally open up their concerts with their version of Bolero, and as I listen to that, I weep every time. I love Pink Martini. This next artist I talked about when I did my Yacht Rock sampler. I think the single that this band released is a good yacht rock song. And of course, I am talking about Frankie and the Knockouts. They had one hit, Sweetheart, and oh, beautiful song. I got this album when it was first released, and oh, I loved it. I loved it then. I still love it. Sweetheart is great. Come Back is good. She's a Runner is good. Tonight is good. It's a wonderful album, start to finish. It's one of the albums that I used to play in the car. Keep in mind, in my high school and college years, one of the things that one would do for entertainment when one lived in a small town is one would get in one's car and just drive aimlessly, because what the hell else are you going to do? And I would play this album. And this was, of the albums that I played, this was the one that got the most consistent. Who is this? I like this a lot, from whoever was in the car with me. I love Frankie and the Knockouts. I love them so much that I also got their second album when it came out, Below the Belt. And when they released the complete recording that has also a later album and some live stuff, you better believe I bought this. And oh, let me tell you how excited I was when I got it. And it came, I don't know if you can see it, it came with a coaster that was signed by Frankie Previtt of Frankie and the Knockouts. I love Frankie and the Knockouts. Good stuff. This next one, I don't know that it's going to be a huge surprise that I'm a fan of this artist, because I've made it clear in several videos that I'm a fan of comic music. Not novelty songs, but comic music with a sense of humor that is also good music. And when we're talking about comic music, we are talking about Tom Lehrer. I love Tom Lehrer. I respect the hell out of Tom Lehrer as a musician and as a songwriter. Fantastic stuff. He's got a great sense of humor. I love the playfulness in his lyrics. When you attend a funeral, it is sad to think that sooner or later those you love will do the same for you. And you may have thought it tragic, not to mention other adjectives, to think of all the weeping they will do. Oh my God. That's brilliant. I love Tom Lehrer. Good music, good sense of humor. And the fact that he does so many different song styles, but does them all very well. He's a wonderful pianist. I love Tom Lehrer. Now, don't rush to judgment on this next one. So far I've been focusing on artists. This next one is an album. This is an album that I think is just frickin' brilliant, okay? I think the songwriting is fantastic. I think the performances are fantastic. This is one of my favorite albums. If I'm, working on trying to compile my personal top 100, these are the 100 albums that I think are the best. this album is going to be on that list. If I'm looking at my top 40, these are the top 40 albums. These are the best albums. This is very likely going to be on that list. If I'm making my list of my 10 favorite albums, the ones that I have to take with me to a desert island, chances are decent that this album will make the list. It's going to be in the conversation to be on that list. And that is William Shatner's Has Been. Yes, William fucking Shatner. I adore this album. Now, don't get me wrong. I've got a copy of his first album, The Transformed Man, I want to say is the name of it. There's a crawl down here if I got that wrong. That I bought primarily for its comedic value. Are you kidding? Bill Shatner emoting Shakespearean soliloquies and Beatles lyrics. Oh, God, you got to have that. And I got it for its value as something to listen to and laugh at. This is not something to listen to and laugh at. This is art, baby. And it is good art. The songwriting is good. There are a couple on here that are Shatner's lyrics married with Ben Folds' music. Ben Folds wrote the bulk of the music on this thing. Ben Folds produced it. There are a couple of covers. Shatner's version of Pulp's Common People is brilliant. If you have never listened to this album, and if your first reaction upon thinking, even considering the possibility of listening to a William Shatner album is, William Shatner, are you kidding me? Trust me, give it a listen. Give it a shot. It is wonderful. I love Has Been by William Shatner. Beautiful album. Now, I don't know how much of a surprise this next artist is going to be. But this is among my favorite music of all time. I am not particularly well informed when it comes to what we would lazily lump under the general heading of classical music. I know as soon as I say classical music that is a misnomer, that you know, the things that we think of when we think of classical music actually are, there's Baroque music, there's the classical period, there's Romantic music, right? I know enough to know that I am horribly, horribly ignorant of music written before, say, 1900. And I'm not, particularly up on music after that, at least until we get to the pop rock era. That being said, I gotta tell you, I love French Romantic music. Music from the 1800s up through turn of the century. Oh, Camille Saint-Saëns. Oh, I love that. Eric Satie. I could listen to that all day long. But I gotta get a handle on it. Claude Debussy. Oh my God, do I love this music. And yeah, it's a doorstop. There's something like 35 CDs in here. Have I listened to all of it? No, I haven't. Have I heard anything yet that I don't like? No. I love Claude Debussy. I am particularly fond, obviously, of Clair de Lune. That's just, but yeah, I love this stuff. Whether it's piano music, whether it's orchestral music, I don't care. I love every minute of it. One of these days, I'll make it all the way through this thing. I've got a similarly sized set of Saint-Saëns, hard to say, back there that I haven't even started trying to get through yet. I love French Romantic music, especially Claude Debussy. But my number one, the artist that I love the most here, that you may be surprised, I don't know. I think I may have I may have mentioned this artist on a video when I was talking about songwriting that I like, because he's one of my favorite songwriters. I don't know that he's going to make it onto my Mount Rushmore, right? Mount Rushmore has 4 heads, and I'm pretty sure my Mount Rushmore of songwriters is going to be Neil Innes, Michael Nesmith, Brian Wilson, and I don't know, Lennon McCartney. Can I smash him in as one head? Maybe Ray Davis. You know, maybe Joe Jackson. Randy Newman. So he's this writer is not part of that. But if I'm fleshing out my list of top 10 favorite songwriters, particularly songwriters that I have very great respect for, and that I think don't get the respect that they deserve, then yeah, that list is headed by Roger Miller. I love Roger Miller. I think that as a songwriter, Roger Miller is top of the class. He is a first-rate craftsman, especially in his lyrics. His lyrics are playful, but they are so very tightly structured. One of these days, take a careful listen to Engine Number 9. Pay attention to those lyrics. Pay attention to the repetitions of sounds. Pay attention to the intricate but extremely irregular rhyme scheme. Oh, it's beautiful. The things that this man can do with language in a song are truly impressive. I love Roger Miller. And those are the artists that I really love that you might not think that I really love. The artists that I like a lot that you might not think that I like a lot. There are others that I could talk about. I haven't once mentioned Scott Joplin, and oh boy, you better believe I love listening to ragtime music. But I'm limiting it to this for now. Who knows? There may be another music that I like that you may not think I like in the future. If you enjoyed today's chat, I hope you did. I enjoyed it myself, so I would like to think you did as well. If you enjoyed the chat, then I would appreciate it if you'd click the like button. If you do click the like button, go ahead and subscribe if you've not already done so. I would appreciate that. If you do subscribe, click the button for the bell for notification. The YouTube folks would appreciate that, so I, in turn, would as well. And again, thanks for sitting with me today and chatting all things music, and I hope that the rest of your day is entertaining. See you soon.